Hey everybody! Yes, hi Riley. I just got home, so Riley's excited to see me as usual. He's always meowing to greet me, right, Riley? And usually, when I come in, I'm bolting for the washroom. So he's used to following me into the bathroom, so he's probably wondering why I didn't go this time. That's because I had to stop at the mall on the way home, so I went there. Anyways, so it is Thursday, June the I don't know why I do this. I should always check before I do the thing. Whatever. It's Thursday, June something. I'll put it in the title. All I know is it's exactly 1 week until my trip with my mom. I cannot believe how fast the time has flown. And sorry my hair is like so messy, but it's really windy outside today. Yeah. So, oh, yes, hello. Look, say hi. Riley, look in the camera. Look. Riley, say hi. Yeah. So yeah, what was it? Where was I going with this? Oh yes, it's a week until the trip. So at this time next Thursday, my mother and I will already be in North Carolina. Our flight leaves from Toronto at 7:45 a.m. So I'm gonna have to get up at 4 in the morning. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Mornings are not my thing, especially with lupus. I'm gonna have to go to bed super early the night before or something to that effect. I have to get up at 4 a.m. and then we're gonna leave at 4:30 a.m. to go and pick up my mom. And then Alex will drive us to the airport. And I'm hoping I can maybe sleep a bit on the plane ride there, because this is kind of where I'm going with this video, is traveling with lupus. This is going to be the first time I have ever traveled since being diagnosed with lupus. I did travel twice the year before I was diagnosed. The first time was to Paris for our honeymoon, and my joints had started to bother me a few days before our wedding. Nothing major though. It was mainly my knees, because my knees have always been the first to flare up, and but it wasn't horrible. Because my wedding day I was great. I felt wonderful. I danced like the whole time when we had dancing at the wedding. I mean, that basically in my mind is the last time I remember feeling healthy was my wedding day. And I'm assuming that I went into a flare soon after because of the stress of wedding planning. As much fun as it was stressful. So the day of the wedding, I actually wasn't as stressed as I thought it would be the day of the wedding. I was a little bit in the morning, and I pretty much did not sleep at all the night before because I was just thinking about making sure everything was going to go as planned, and I was just excited, so I couldn't sleep. So I don't even know how I made it through that day with hardly any sleep, but that was the old me. The old me, when I was healthy, I could stay up like till all hours of the night and still function the next day somehow. So anyways, I'm thinking it might have been adrenaline personally, but so the day of the wedding, everything was great, and I was just getting over a bit of a cold, so I remember having to take cough medicine the morning of, and I meant to take it before I put on my gown, but I forgot. And so there's I don't know if they took a picture, but there's this point where my maid of honor and my bridesmaid were helping me take the cough medicine without spilling it all over my gown. So that was kind of funny. Thankfully, nothing was spilled on my gown, except for I think by the end of the night I had some cupcake icing on it. Um, but yeah, I had a little bit of a scratchy throat. And yes, by the end of that night, from all the dancing and everything, I was very tired and a little bit achy. And I mean a little bit. I wasn't in total pain. Um, but I was just exhausted. But also couldn't really sleep because the next day we were going to Paris and I was excited about that. And just the excitement from the day, I just couldn't wind down even though I was really tired. And so, we went to Paris. It was a long flight. I remember my joints starting to hurt a little bit more on the flight, probably because, sitting for such a long period of time. I mean, I did get up and stretch, when I could and stuff, but I just remember slowly as the honeymoon went on, my joints started to get more sore. Even though, I mean, I managed to do walking almost all day. I mean, we only had a week in Paris, and if you've ever been to Paris, you know that a week is not enough in Paris to see everything. And so we just really had to, before we left, we decided exactly what it was that we definitely had to see. And some of the things we did more than one in one day. So we were like going from like one end of the city to the other, going on subway and then walking and subway and walking. I mean, it was just go, go, go all day long. And that's how it was for pretty much the whole honeymoon. There wasn't really a lot of relaxing. It was just sightseeing and sightseeing, just constant moving and walking. And yeah, so by the time I got back from the honeymoon is when things started to get worse. I was starting to get more fatigued, and the joint pain was starting to become more frequent and a little more intense, and it just progressed as the months went on. And so I remember that a couple of months after we got married, I went on another trip to North Dakota to visit my friend Nicole. And I remember being in so much pain that flight. My the rheumatologist I was seeing at that time that never even tested to make certain that it was rheumatoid arthritis, had just assumed it was rheumatoid arthritis. He had started me on Plaquenil, I believe it was at that time, but he had never told me that it takes 3 to 6 months to kick in. And so, I just assumed this would help me. I'd feel good on my trip, and I didn't. I mean, I still had a good time. It was nice to visit my friend and do some shopping and things like that. But I just remember struggling so much to get through every single day there because, the one thing that we wanted to do was take our dolls out to the mall and stuff because we both collect the dolls. And so, we were going out every day doing lots of walking at the mall and stuff. And I was just in so much pain the whole time. And the flight was excruciating. Just the pain in my joints was awful. I remember by the end of the days when I was there, it was hard for me to get up the stairs to go to the bedroom. I mean, I was in bad shape. And when I came back, it was just worse. And so these symptoms worsened during my trip, which made me think that the medication, the Plaquenil, was making it worse instead of better. And so I had stopped it, not knowing that it takes time to kick in. So it's too bad I hadn't stayed on it because it probably would have helped me sooner than waiting to get the proper diagnosis. But, you live and learn. But yeah, it was, so that was the last time I traveled. And then, the following year I was diagnosed with lupus. And I have not traveled since. So I'm a little bit nervous because I know, I'm going to want to do, and go. But I know that I can no longer do that. We talked about this at my support group that, I really have to make sure that I pace myself and rest and, you know, I have to be careful about that. And so I don't know how that's going to work out. But the other thing that I learned at my support group meeting, which was really good to know, was I did not know that now when you travel, you have to have all of your medications in their original prescription bottles. And I thought, oh my God, I have so many medications. Like, this is just going to be so much to carry. Well, then someone at the support group told me that if you go to the pharmacy, you can ask them to give you small pill bottles, because most of the pills I have are in like these huge, like fat, wide, tall bottles. And so they said you can do that. You can ask them to give you some small ones with the labels on them, and you just fill them with what you need for your trip. So that was a fantastic idea. And so I had to get some prescriptions refilled anyways. That was another thing that I did. I went through all of my medications, made sure that I had enough to get me through my vacation. And if I didn't, then I got them refilled. So I just got back from the pharmacy, and Alex dropped it all off yesterday, and they had to order some medications in that they didn't have. So that I had to wait so I went and got it today. And sure enough, I won't show you the information, but sure enough, they gave me all little pill bottles, and it has the label on, so I'll know what medication and what dose. And then they said, and then they printed off. Well, I get this anyways with everything. They give me like a printout. I'm not going to show it all, but a printout of all the medications I'm on. So someone had said that I should just get the doctor to write a note about the prescriptions I take, but I asked 2 doctors, and both of them said that it should be fine. I don't need the note as long as I have the printout from the pharmacy. So I got that taken care of, so I'm great. So I'm really hoping, I think I've got a good pace going on this routing, and I think if I can at least finish 1 to 2 sections tonight and hopefully 2 sections tomorrow. Saturday I have the whole day free, and I'm planning to get up bright and early and just route the entire day. So I think I should be able to finish my doll this weekend, which is great, because I was so nervous that I wouldn't be able to finish it in time to enter it in the contest. I was trying not to stress myself out about it. I was like, you know what? My health comes first. I don't want to be sick for my trip. So I've just been pacing myself with the doll, just working on it as I feel I can. I had a couple of rough days last week where I didn't do any work on the doll at all because I felt sick. So I just listened to my body and rested. And I just said to myself, you know what? If it's meant to be entered in the contest, I will get it finished. If it isn't, then oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. And it would be one less thing to carry. The other thing I forgot to mention, when I was at the lupus clinic the other day, they approached me about taking part in a study. And the study is, to sum it up, they want to, the purpose of the study is to determine what, if any, impact rheumatic diseases such as systemic lupus, erythematosus, and rheumatoid arthritis have on a woman's fertility. SLE and RA are most often affect women in their reproductive years, and some of the medications used to treat these diseases can affect fertility. So they just want to find out. And what's cool about this study is if I decide to do it, which I believe I will, they will give you the results, and they'll basically be able to kind of tell me what it means in terms of my fertility. So, when it comes time for us to have a baby, I think it'll be helpful to know how my fertility is with lupus, I guess. So, and then I'm going to be, it'll be useful information, for this study. So, the only problem, that I had with it was that you have to go for this study visit between the second and fourth day of your menstrual cycle, which is 2 to 4 days after your period has started. And I told the rheumatologist I really haven't had a period in like over a year. Um, my periods were always regular. I hope this isn't too much information, but since most lupus people are women, I think you can understand. Yeah, mine have always been regular, until I went on the pill before we got married. And then, even with the pill, it was like super dead on, like super regular. Everything was great. Then I was diagnosed with lupus, and I had heard that birth control containing estrogen can flare lupus. And it's funny because my symptoms really started a month after being put on birth control. So I kind of wonder if it was maybe stress of the wedding planning mixed with the estrogen. So I spoke to my gynecologist about it after I was diagnosed. I told her, I was diagnosed with lupus. And she said, yes, we generally try not to put you on ones containing estrogen. So since then, I've been on progesterone only birth control. And ever since then, my periods have been crazy. I think it was like the first few months on it, everything was like pretty even keel. It was normal. And then I'm not even kidding, women out there, I'm not even kidding. I had like a period for like 2 weeks, and then it went away for like a week to a week and a half, and then it came back for another 2 weeks. And so for like a couple of months in a row, I literally had like 2 periods a month. It was absolute horror. So, and then it disappeared. And I didn't have anything. I occasionally get spotting, and I never know when it's going to happen, which is just wonderful. Now, the last 3 months, I have had, I guess you can call it a period, once every month around the same time. But I generally call it more like spotting for a week, because it's like hardly anything. But so she said, well, that's fine. Just basically whenever my spotting period, whatever you want to call it, starts, then I would call to make the appointment to come in one of the few days after that. So I said, okay. So, yeah, I mean, my gynecologist, she checked everything out. She sent me for an ultrasound and everything just to make sure that something else wasn't going on that was causing the irregular periods. But she said it's pretty much the birth control, except for the fact my ovaries were a little polycystic. And I don't know if I had mentioned that before, but yeah. But it was very minor, and she's not really concerned about it at this point. She'd only be concerned about it if I go off birth control to try and get pregnant, and my periods don't return once I'm off the birth control, then she would be a little concerned. But as of right now, there's nothing really concerning. So I think I might do the study. It sounds interesting. I definitely hope to have a baby one day, soon, hopefully in the next couple of years. So I think it would be interesting to see what, effect lupus has had, if any, on my fertility. So, and I guess that's it. I've gone on way, way, way longer than I intended. So I'm going to cut this short. And I have one other video that I'm going to do because I got some fun mail. All right, see you guys in the next video.